Okay, and we're back with another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest. I'm Seth from the Lonely Stoner podcast, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about the quiet betrayal that is happening in your savings account. So, you've seen the adverts, right? Earn 5% interest, grow your money risk free. Banks are dangling these interest rates like carrots, and we're all supposed to cheer. But here's the dirty secret that these banks won't say out loud. No matter how high savings rates go, inflation will always be higher. It will always be higher. And that's not an accident. It's the math, it's the policy. Low key, it's the reason your grandparents could retire on a pension and you'll be working until you're dead. So, this episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest, we're going to pull back the curtain. Why do we live in a world where saving money is actually a losing game? And we're also going to look into who benefits from keeping it this way. And we're going to kick it off with the cold, hard data. Now, in 2024, the average US savings account paid 4.5% interest. And that sounds great, doesn't it? But inflation's running at 5.8%, which means your money is rotting. Slowly, silently, but definitely rotting. Now, let's look at some historical context. So, in the 1980s, savings rates hit 15%. But inflation hit 14%, for a net gain of 1%. Post-2008 crisis, rates crashed to 0.1%, while inflation averaged around 2%. Now, even in the golden age of the 1950s, savings yields barely outpaced inflation, right? So the pattern is clear. Savings accounts are designed for you to lose. They're not a tool to help you grow wealth. They never have been. They're a placebo to keep you calm while your purchasing power slowly bleeds out. So you're probably thinking, why can't banks just pay 7% interest if inflation's 5%? Well, let's follow the money. So first of all, you've got central banks and the inflation target. The Federal Reserve's explicit goal is 2% inflation, not 0%, not negative inflation, which would be deflation, but it's 2%. Why? Because mild inflation encourages spending and debt, and that is the true engine of modern capitalism. If savings rates ever truly beat inflation, people would stop borrowing and the entire house of cards collapses. The second part, the debt machine. Governments are addicted to debt. The US government owes $35 trillion. I'm going to say that again. The US government owes $35 trillion. High interest rates would make that debt unpayable, so they would keep rates just low enough to avoid revolt, but just high enough to pretend like they're actually helping you. And the third part is wealth extraction. Banks profit from the spread, from the arbitrage. If they borrow from the Fed at 2%, they lend to you at 20% and pay you 4% on your savings. The difference is pure profit. Banks' game is arbitrage. And that's where their profit margins are in the spread, like I said. Now, your high yield interest account is crumbs from what these banks are earning. Okay, so let's give a personal example. Meet Bob. Bob's a teacher in Ohio. He saved $10,000 last year, earning $450 in interest. But with inflation, Bob's grocery bills rose to $600, meaning in real terms, he made a net loss of $150. Now, Bob's working harder, saving smarter, and still going backwards. It isn't incompetence on his part, it's policy. A system that rewards debtors and punishes savers. But why is this the case? Why? Consumerism. If your savings grew, you might stop buying the crap you don't need. Labour leverage. Desperate people take shit jobs. That's the nature of it. Unfortunately, that's how the world is. I don't think it's right, but that's how it is. Desperate people take shit jobs. Secure people demand raises. And then thirdly, the generational wealth transfer. Boomers had pensions, millennials get crypto ads and side hustles. It's a cold world we're living in here, guys. A cold, cold world. So you're asking, what can you do? The system's rigged, but are there escape hatches? Well, sort of. Now, one option is stocks and real estate. The invest, don't save mantra but markets are volatile, housing's unaffordable, and 2008 proved the game's still controlled by the same banks. B. Crypto. Decentralized, maybe, uncorrelated to inflation, partially, and Bitcoin's crashed during inflationary spikes. C. Gold. The ancient inflation hedge. Reality is, as great as gold is, it doesn't pay interest, and if we look back in history, governments can seize it. Think of FDR in 1933. History repeats itself, guys. And then there's the catch-22. For every alternative, there's always risk, capital, if we're being honest, a bit of luck. The message is clear. Stay in your lane. But if we want to talk about the uncomfortable truth, inflation isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's a silent tax on the poor, a wealth transfer to the connected, right? And if we boil it down to its most simplest level, they'll never let savings rates beat inflation because it would mean you win. And in this game, you're not supposed to win. You're supposed to keep going, you're supposed to keep running. But knowledge is a weapon. Now you see the trap. What's next? Maybe it's time to rethink what saving even means. Maybe it's time to demand more. Or maybe it's time to play a different game altogether. Let me know in the comments if you like this video, what you think of it, if you think I'm talking a bunch of rubbish, if you agree with me, let me know what you guys think. It's been an interesting episode and put a lot of work into this one, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. But another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.